What is up, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time. Oh, I forgot to shut that door, so I'm yelling through the whole house. Sorry about that, hon. Anyways, well, what's up, everybody? It is a glorious little Tuesday, joined by a couple of the sharpest minds in the biz. One, Mr. Andy Means. What up, Means?
Not much. Kind of a, let's not sugarcoat it. Kind of a crappy slate.
Yeah.
But money to be won. So that's what we're here for. Let's help the people.
Yeah, well, I got to give you a little pat on the back. I got to dap you up for last night. I was on the show and I was like, I don't want to play because all I want to do is watch Monday Night Football. And you're like, no, Roth, you should just throw in a few lineups and then watch Monday Night Football. And I smashed last night. Like everybody, flame emoji, 3-4x in all my tournaments. So good job. All I did was listen to you and listen to Ice. So good work.
Well, I hope everyone else did that because I did not smash because I played Jimmy Butler. And
yeah, I was literally just gonna say, must be nice not playing Jimmy Butler there.
Yeah,
I didn't play him.
And since he was on pace to be fine, he would have probably got like 40, 45 DK points. Would have been fine, but instead he had 27 because he hurt his tailbone again. So 'tis the life in the NBA DFS streets, especially in cash games. If you miss on one, you're probably gonna miss on the whole night. So, but I'm glad Roth did well. Hopefully, a lot of people did well, and let's see if we can repeat.
I think so. We got Tuttle as well. Tuttle, it's been a while, man. How are you?
Just happy to be here, man. Just happy to be here. Back on that crunch time grind. I think I'm on actually a decent amount this month. We had Devin scheduling. DB handed off the scheduling swap to Devin this month. Mm-hmm. And didn't get the ownership memo, but it's fine because then I got Jamino to cover for me for ownership on the days that I'm on. Of course, he gets the 3-game slate with no news, so like that's happening. That's not frustrating at all.
I like it. Usually you're on the show and you're so angry about having to do ownership, and now you're on the show and you're so angry that you don't have ownership.
You're right. You're right. I should be more optimistic. I should be in a better mood, and let's make some money tonight, guys, because I'm happy to be here.
Okay, I love it. As your false enthusiasm is wonderful, Tuttle. No, I think, look, at least we've got a good game to watch. So I'm just going to stack up the Dallas game. It's national TV. And it's just Luka and KD and Harden. So I'm planning on stacking that up. We can decide if that's smart or not. And this show started 10 minutes late. Also, this is a free show, right? So if you're watching on YouTube over there, smash that like and subscribe button for us. One last thing before we get going. Did you gentlemen both watch Monday Night Football? And was it not the most incredible freaking thing you've ever seen in your life?
I'm guessing you haven't slept since last night, right?
I'm still pretty bummed about it. It was so good. It was so fun. Oh, weather doesn't matter. Oh, just a little wind. Who cares? It threw the ball 3 freaking times. It couldn't punt. It couldn't do anything. It was glorious.
File that one away, man. When the Pats are in games like that, that was like to the extreme. Fucking 3 pass attempts, or I'm sorry, freaking 3 pass attempts on YouTube.
Yeah. You can't swear on YouTube. It was so cool. It was just so fun to watch, and like kudos to the Pats for being like, we're just gonna run it every time, and you're not really gonna be able to stop that. It was pretty fun. A few people are saying, hey, is it on? Hopefully, yes. Hopefully we're on. If we're not, let us know, because then this entire amazing intro.
Well, we killed the intro, so it would be a shame if that goes away, and if no one else saw that.
This was a 10 out of 10 intro. And if you're watching and you can't hear us, then whatever I'm about to say is irrelevant. I was about to say, maybe try the YouTube, but if you can't hear us, you can't hear me say, try the YouTube link.
Do we have confirmation we are going, Mr. Roth? Has anyone said, hey?
At the Discord, we got one person being like, I can't.
We're definitely going on YouTube for sure.
All right. Well, then we've got viewers, we've got the masses here, and everybody else says it's fixed. So, okay, if you are just now tuning in, you missed the greatest 3-minute intro in history. We're not going to even try to recapture it. It's okay. Just know it was fantastic. Let's talk about.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and Tuttle's thrilled to be here.
Tuttle's here so he won't get fined.
All right. Means like, hey, it's 3 games. There doesn't seem to be a lot of value, and there are a lot of stars that I want to pay up for, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So what are we doing?
Well, it's one of those sites where it's like you have value that's good relative to the other value. So it's good for the slate, I guess, but it's probably mostly guys we wouldn't consider like if it was last night's slate, except for like maybe Schroeder. So I tagged 5 guys on FanDuel just because I think the build is relatively straightforward on there for cash games. I tagged, I think, 3 guys on DK. So the way I have the build now is you have 7K per position for 4 spots. Obviously, you're going to be able to get at least 1 or 2 spins here. So that's kind of going to be the key. I'm actually going to start at center just because I think that's kind of a key decision point, and you're not paying up here, I don't think. So it's just even more, salary relief to get you higher studs. So like, I think you're probably playing like you can put LMA here, obviously, and shift things down. That's one way. I prefer to go the Jakob Poeltl route. I believe that is how you pronounce his name, Mr. Roth. I like putting him there. You can also do like Mitra, maybe. I definitely prefer the Poeltl route. And I'll throw Horford's name in the equation, but yeah, I prefer Poeltl there. So like, I'm just gonna if you throw his spot in there, then you have even more money to spend. So let's hop back to guard, because this is like, you're really at guard, you're getting one of Luka or Harden. So that is like never a fun discussion to have. I swear we had this exact same discussion like Friday maybe, where it was like these guys are, maybe it was Thursday because they might have been on the same slate or something, but it's like they're so close. And it's hard to differentiate. Like, I honestly can't say I have a preference. I usually just in this instance, I just go with Luka just because he has less guys that he has to fight over for stuff. So that's how our projections prefer slightly. You can play both if you want, but that's what I would do. And I mean, don't forget DeJounte Murray, man. The dude, like, we talk about him a lot on this show for tournaments, but the guy just continues to put up 50. Had another 50 last night. So if you like 50 fantasy points for 9 whatever, play DeJounte Murray. So it's like every freaking night the dude just gets 45 to 60. So yeah, he's fine. And that's really it for the guards. Like, you can play 2 of those guys if you're going cheap. Trying to think if I missed anyone cheap, like maybe last pieces like Brunson, Patty Mills, RJ Barrett, THT. Those might be something you land on if you can only get one of those expensive guys. So that is guard. And I only have really 1 spot for forward based on this, but I'll try to mention a couple names just in case you like playing LMA at center. So Burks, I untagged Burks I still think he's one of the better cash game plays on the slate, but I don't think he's as much of a must play after we officially got the Boston news from with Jaylen Brown being out. So you can play him. I think he's fine. Trying to think Horford's fine. Like, Barrett's fine. The shooting, basically probably you're probably playing one of those expensive guys, your point guard slot, the other shooting guard slot, and the other small forward slot, or I guess it could be the other power forward slot, depending on what you do with Tatum, is basically your last 2v2. And you just kind of go with where you land there. And that's kind of the build. It's not many decisions, but I mean, maybe it's one of those slates where it comes down to like who scores more points between Harden and Doncic, and those are never fun cash game slates.
Yeah, well, they can be fun tournament slates, and on a 3-game slate, everybody's playing tournaments anyways. Nobody's being lame playing cash like Meansy, right?
I'm not even playing cash tonight.
I am.
So let's talk about what we're going to do in tournaments here, Tuttle. 3 games. Does it behoove you to like stack up 1 game and hope it goes bonkers, or you picking and choosing?
A little bit of both. I will say on like concentrated slates like this, I am more aggressive with stacking, less options to spread out. So you kind of hope to bank one of those games and get it into overtime and whatnot. So, and other things that I'm not as worried about on these small slates, like we have multiple teams with double studs, and typically on a 10-game slate, we're not going to play James Harden and Kevin Durant on the same team. We're not going to play LeBron James, Anthony Davis on the same team. I'm fine with it on this slate. You do want to know that they're negatively correlated, so like wouldn't go crazy with it and dock them a little bit in your personal builds if you're doing that. But if they still make lineups together, I'm completely okay with it on a slate like this. FanDuel, there's not a ton to talk about in terms of individual plays. I think it's more like strategy based. So it'd be like on FanDuel specifically, if you want to double spend at point guard, shooting guard, I think that's going to be a more unique build. I think Jason Tatum is going to come in as the highest owned, high priced player on FanDuel, I think by a fairly wide margin. We actually have it where Luka's projected for the highest owned high priced player on FanDuel. But I think with the Jaylen Brown being out and the flexibility that Tatum has with shooting small forward, power forward, I think he'll come in the highest owned. So if you want to just differentiate your build a little bit, again, double spend at point guard, shooting guard, you can do that with both James Harden, Luka, who we kind of talked about trying to pick between on. Play both if you want together in a lineup, and then save at small forward. I think that's a completely viable way for lineup construction on FanDuel. The other way to kind of approach slates like this is try to identify bad chalk. Schroeder is not bad chalk. The problem is I don't think any of these guys are bad chalk, but there are guys that certainly have lower floors than other people. Like LaMarcus Aldridge has been extremely consistent of late. But we have also seen kind of weird things happen with this rotation in the past with Brooklyn. So somebody like LaMarcus Aldridge, who we have projected at 52% ownership, he's very unlikely to break the slate. Like he can get you in the 30-35 fantasy point range, but he's very unlikely to truly break the slate. So somebody like that, I'm more okay taking kind of an aggressive stance against in tournaments, just at his high projected ownership. Another guy that fits the same bill is, I'm sorry to do this to you, Roth, Keldon Big Body Johnson.
Yeah, wait, you want to fade him? That's a mistake, homie.
He just has such an extreme range of outcomes. He really does. And he's projecting right now as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th highest owned player on the slate. So somebody like him as well. So if you want to throw an RJ Barrett at the small forward spot RJ Barrett at the small forward spot instead of playing Keldon Johnson there, I think that's completely viable for tournaments. I will go back with the Aldridge stuff. I will say he doesn't have a direct pivot, which makes it a little bit more difficult. You kind of have to get a little bit crazy with your 2v2s or get a little bit different with your 2v2s, because unlike Keldon, who has RJ Barrett there at the exact same price point, Aldridge doesn't have really, a great alternative to pivot off of. In tournaments, you would kind of have to go up to like a Horford and flex your spending a little bit different that way. One last thing I did want to mention then for FanDuel specifically, there was some rumor that New York might change the starting lineups. Nerlens Noel being one of the guys that might enter the starting lineup over Mitch Rob. So if you kind of want to play speculation a little bit, you could run with Noel in some builds. He is a much better FanDuel scorer than DraftKings scorer typically because of the block steals, 3 points on FanDuel. So if you want to speculate with Nerlens Noel, I think that's fine, especially at a position that's fairly weak overall.
Okay, great. We'll get your DK thoughts here in a bit, and maybe you can do a little position by position, and we can talk about your favorite spend ups, your favorite cheapies. But in the meantime, let's swap it on over to DK. And by the way, if you've got questions coming, whether in the YouTube chat or the Discord, we will get to those after we run through DK. So memes, what do you like over there? Are you going my route and just hammering? Who's that crappy guy in the Mavs I'm playing?
Reggie Bullock. Yeah,
Reggie
I'm not
Bullock,
going that route.
Is he a Bullock tonight? No,
he is not. He's a Bullock to suck at DFS. I'm not playing him. Total and I were trying to talk Roth off of playing Reggie Bullock because all he does is shoot threes, and this year he doesn't really hit them. So
he's shooting like 25% or something this year, which is terrible when your only job is to hit open threes.
Sweet hair last I looked, though. I do like his hair, so he has that going for him.
Yeah, that's a fact.
All right, so DK Schroeder, whatever. Hate calling him that. Tatum, Pirtle, those are my guys. I got tagged. Similar discussion over here on DK tonight as a FanDuel. You're probably playing 2 of 3 of like these good expensive guards, Harden, Luka, or DeJounte. Get a nice little discount on DeJounte if you want to go that route. He's 9.5 on DK tonight, and that's a good grand cheaper than the other 2 guys. So I do like him plenty as a spend up. Lonnie Walker is just someone we would not be talking about on a different slate, but I think he's probably the best shooting guard option here. I'm slightly higher on him than our projections are for what it's worth. That's not saying a lot because I'm not that much higher, but he's 3-4 and the slate's awful and the position's awful. Like we have negative RG values at shooting guard in general. So basically most of my builds have been put in Lonnie Walker. Vassell's out again. Not appealing by any stretch, but that's what I've been doing at shooting guard for the most part. So like that's a good start to the build. Let's just look at both forward spots because Tatum has both. You can go either way, and then this will give you kind of a glimpse to the first 5 guys that I'm looking at. You can also bump Walker to small forward, Tatum to power forward, and then go with one of those other crappy shooting guards. That's an option, but then maybe I'll throw Durant's name into the mix as a spin up. If you want to maybe come off one of those guards, you can go to Durant. If you want to come off of, if you don't want to go up to Durant, you just go to Porzingis. So those are some of the options I've been looking at. Keldon Johnson's power forward eligible. I think he's in play here at the power forward spot. He's only 5'6". I think he is in play. Not a lot to like. And then I guess center, actually my favorite builds, and I've been 2 center builds. 2 guys only have center eligibility, and that's LMA and Pirtle. So like a lot of my builds have kind of started like this and then kind of go from there. You got probably room for just one stud in that route. It's gross out there, man. Because Tatum's 9'4", you definitely got to play him, so you probably want to get one other stud. And it's gross out there in these streets tonight, man. That's all I got.
All right. Well, let's talk about what we're doing here in GPPs, Tuttle. If you don't mind, let's start with maybe your favorite spend ups, and then we'll talk about some of your favorite cheapies as well. Already people are asking about Boban and Enes Freedom Cantor or Cantor Freedom. So we need some value somewhere, man.
Yeah, value is gross, and that's a good way to start, is saying that value is gross. We mentioned it already, or Andy mentioned it already. Lonnie Walker is probably going to be fairly chalky on DraftKings, which tells you a little bit about the slate. Roth wants to play Reggie Bullock, which tells you a little bit about the slate. So there's 2 ways.
A little bit about Roth.
I was going to say, it tells you more about what a dumbass I am, but yeah.
But it does tell you immediately then also like which way to go here. We can either try to find pivots, from these.
I just got word that Pirtle's out. Just got word that Pirtle's out.
On. Drew Eubanks, baby.
That's well.
It's got to be Eubanks, right?
Well, Jamino just posted that in Slack, then he deleted it.
Yeah, I think Jamino got catfished, maybe.
Did he mean Parker? Because I saw Jabari Parker got ruled out. All right, well, abort that.
I think he got catfished.
Blame that one on Jamino, everybody. That was not me. I just saw Jamino post that in Slack. So thanks, Jamino.
You're giving out bad references there. Means you read it as if it was news.
I trusted the director of our premium product.
I have Twitter searched Jakob Poeltl, and I have nothing there. Do not be afraid. Jakob Poeltl is playing tonight.
Okay. All right. So never mind that. Let's get back to where we were, Tuttle.
Yeah, basically what I was saying is there's 2 ways to approach the slate then on DraftKings, right? We either find the pivots to the crappy value plays, or some value play, other lower owned value plays to take a shot at, or you hammer the mid tier. Mid tier is probably going to be the lesser owned. Like I still think people are going to be playing like, hey, Dwight Howard. Means he mentioned he's going to have 2 center builds. Dwight Howard also fits that build. I think that's fine if you're trying to take the value approach and you're looking for somebody like we have Howard projected for 22% ownership, which isn't too bad on a 3-game slate. So like I think he's fine if you want to take that value approach. But again, do think you can completely also just pound the mid tier, hammer the mid tier. So that would be guys like RJ Barrett, who I mentioned on FanDuel. He's 5,300 on DraftKings. This would also be where you start hammering like Big Body Johnson. Big Body, definitely a better Big Body is Keldon Johnson for those who don't know. Keldon Johnson, definitely a better tournament play on DraftKings than FanDuel. There's a massive difference in his ownership, which tells you the difference between the sides. Like Keldon Johnson projected for 18% ownership on DraftKings as opposed to 40% on FanDuel. He's cheaper on FanDuel and he fits builds better where you have to kind of play those 2 small forward spots. So I like kind of that mid-tier approach on DraftKings. If you're stubborn and you want to just, fill your lineup with some shitty players, again, it's like Dwight Howard for me, James Johnson maybe. I think is okay, not great option. Cam Thomas could be a guy that could run into a little bit more minutes. He's a little bit more aggressive off the bench. I know KD was kind of hyping him up a little bit, so Cam Thomas would be a potential guy. Cheaper, Josh Richardson is another guy. We know that Boston rotations thinned out a tiny bit with Jaylen Brown out of there, so maybe Richardson gets closer to 30 minutes and ends up outscoring Lonnie Walker straight up at much lower ownership. I think that's a completely fine play as well. I mentioned speculation with the New York Knicks lineup. Nerlens Noel is only 3,900. I think that's another fine way to go. I actually think an interesting approach for lineups now that I think about it on DraftKings, if you do want to speculate that Noel starts, even just starting a lineup with Nerlens Noel and Dwight Howard, that's going to get you unique right away and also allow you then to spend up at those other positions that you want to spend up. So there are enough cheap options where you can kind of get unique without eating the Lonnie Walker chalk type of thing. But I also do think just kind of playing the mid tier is a completely viable approach as well.
Okay, I want to talk to you about spend ups real fast before we get to these QQs. There's this gap where there's no one between Porzingis at 7.6. The next guy is 9.1 over on DK. At Randall, there's no one in between. So from 9.1 up, who are your favorite spend ups here? Randall, Tatum, Murray, LeBron, Westbrook, Davis, Harden, Durant, Luka.
I think on a slate like this, all these guys are so similar, and also project similarly enough that you just play the ownership game here, right? Like James Harden is the guy that's projected for just 19% ownership on DraftKings right now. Anthony Davis is projected for 10% ownership. Those would be the guys I gamble on. Like Harden's been a lot better. Like people are still thinking kind of about his start to the season and how bad it was. Now it's basically just he's not hitting shots, which is obviously a huge concern, but his other rates have increased substantially. Assist rate, rebound rate, everything else is there. If he starts hitting shots, this is the Harden that we can see for 70 DraftKings points again. So Harden would be definitely my favorite spend up on the slate.
Okay, great. We've got 8 minutes until lock. Means you have something to add. You got the finger point going. What's up?
Just a couple guys I didn't mention that I neglected that will help you get a better looking roster construction with if you like a power forward. James Johnson and Obi Toppin. They're basically 3-1 and 3-2. I'd be fine putting with either one of those dudes if it kind of gets you what you want. I would not ever mention them on another slate, but this slate they're probably cash game viable because the positions they're at suck and they're cheap as hell and they get you better plays. So
that's good. You made fun of the slate without dropping an F-bomb this time. Good job.
All right. I'll be allowed back on the next free show.
Right. Okay. Let's take some of these QQs. I'm going to be both in the YouTube as well as over here on the RotoGrinders Discord. By the way, you should absolutely sign up for RotoGrinders Premium because we have this Discord. It's a wonderful tool. You get $10 off your first month if you sign up for RotoGrinders Premium now. And there's just Meansy is just in the Discord answering your questions. You can ping him 24 hours a day and he will get back to you within 5 minutes.
Usually accurate. Maybe not 5 minutes, within the hour.
Yeah.
Make sure you're in there, Meansy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'll get in. If I hop in there, I'll stay in there for maybe a half hour or so, but then the regulars start, getting after it and I got to hop out.
All right, let's get to these QQs. Kid Lightning, DKGPP 2v2, DFS is cheap on DK, and Tatum or Zinger and Pirtle. Thank you.
All right, well, DFS and who?
And Tatum or Zinger and Pirtle.
Yeah, I gotta go Zinger, Pirtle.
All right. FanDuel Cash means 3v3 for you. Murray, Barrett, Horford, or Luka, THT, Burks.
Ooh, second one.
Okay. Is Necktat, who I believe is James Johnson, is that right? Is he playable as a last piece in DK Cash?
Sadly, yes.
All right. DKGBP, Tuttle, Smart or White?
Smart.
DY says, Tuttle, give me your favorite cheapie here in a DKGPP. James Johnson, Cam Thomas, Lonnie Walker, or DeAndre Bembry.
Whew, what a slate.
If you want to purposely avoid Lonnie Walker chalk, it's James Johnson there for me.
Okay, but if you're okay eating the chalk, it would be Lonnie Walker.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we playing C. Thomas in a FanDuel GPP? Cam Thomas, I guess.
Yes, for sure.
FanDuel cash means DeJounte and Barrett or Luka and THT.
Yeah, it's just a smaller version, I guess. That other question. Those are both good. I lean the Luka one though.
Beezy says, "What are your thoughts on Finney Smith over in a GPP on FanDuel?"
Yeah, it's fine. Low ceiling option, but he should get minutes.
Right. You're never like, oh yeah, that's
right.
the guy.
Exactly.
Dorian Finney-Smith, that's the guy. That
you hope he gets
Roth,
the 20 points and doesn't kill you, basically.
Right.
Sorry, what was that 2v2 again? I feel like I answered that wrong. I was second guessing
DeJounte
myself.
Barrett or Luka THT in FanDuel cash.
Yeah, the Luka one just a little bit.
Okay. Jay Mango says Primo. Okay, last piece in FanDuel GPP. Who the heck is Primo? I have no idea who that is.
Josh Primo, baby. He's on your Spurs.
Or his rookie.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty
thin. He probably took some Lucas Simonich's or whatever his name is spot.
Damn that guy. Damn him. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty thin on FanDuel, but
yeah. Okay. DK Cash, are you as high on KP as projections? You want a little zinger? Man, Zinger sometimes has some big games. Like he can put a 30 and 15 out there.
I mean, I don't know. That's a tough way to answer a tough way to answer that question. I don't see anything wrong with this projection. I'm not saying he's like would be in my cash game build, but yeah, I don't know how to answer that.
Okay. Jumping over to the chat over here. Keelan Brown says, hey, which superstars would you fade in the after hours games, Spurs, Knicks, and Lakers, Celtics on FanDuel? Would you fade Murray, LeBron, Davis, Randall, or Tatum in a GPP?
I have to pick one. Say them again.
I guess so, or maybe you can pick a couple.
Say my options again. Sorry.
Murray, LeBron, AD, Randall, Tatum.
Of those ones, I like Randall the least. I think Tatum will be the most popular. So if you want to play the ownership game, he would be the fade. But he is also the strongest projected play out of the bunch.
Okay.
And he'll be even more owned on a 2-game slate.
Yeah, he'll be massive chalk.
Yeah. Right. K-Mac, Marcus Smart or Dennis, second revenge game Schroeder in a FanDuel GPP.
Oh my gosh, I blanked. Say it one more time.
It was Marcus Smart or Dennis Schroeder, FanDuel GPP.
Schroeder.
Last man in on a DK GPP, making your work for it, Tuttle, 5,100 or less. I assume.
Let me look.
Util. In the meantime, jumping
back
give
Means
over here to Means. FanDuel cash means Bembry, Horford, or THT and Pirtle.
Second one.
FanDuel cash, what are your thoughts on Hardaway and Rose?
I didn't land on Hardaway in anything. I could see Rose maybe.
And Rose is your answer for that 5,100 or less.
For 5,100 Rose. Okay. FanDuel GPP Carolina guy says LeBron and Randall okay?
Yeah, I mean they'll be the lowest owned of the bunch.
All right. Beaner, FanDuel GPP, Zinger or Randall?
Zinger.
3v3 DK GPP, James Johnson, DeJounte Murray, and Smart, or Harden, James Johnson, and Patty Mills?
So it's just a 2v2.
Yes.
James Johnson, Patty Mills Harden and Patty Mills versus who?
DeJounte Murray and Smart.
It's Murray and Smart. I love Harden in GPPs, but that's still Murray and Smart.
Okay. DK GPP, both lineups have Tatum. You like stars and scrubs with Mills, James Johnson, and Murray, or more balance with Smart, Zinger, Monk? 30
seconds to lock also.
More balance.
All right.
I'm not really sold on Monk today, though. So it's more balanced, but probably with somebody different than Monk.
Gotcha. Rose or Fournier in a FanDuel GPP, who would you prefer?
Rose.
DK GPP Tuttle, which one of the Lakers' big three? Oh, would you fade them all, or which one would you play?
I'm fine with exposure to Braun and AD.
deep. Yeah, yeah. All right, we hit the lock here. That.
Have you guys seen that YouTube clip of the 10-minute clip of the Hornets best clip? The Hornets play-by-play guy, his best calls. The real excitable guy.
No, I've seen some of his calls, and they're phenomenal. So
they are, but man, I was watching some of this. Malik Monk, man, but that dude just has some bounce. He was like throwing down. So man, I was like, forgot how just athletic that dude is, and now he just kind of doesn't. You don't really see that out of him with the Lakers as much, and he didn't play that much with the Hornets for a variety of reasons. But yeah, he was in a lot of those clips, and you kind of forgot about how athletic he is.
Yeah, I don't get to watch enough NBA anymore because I got 2 kids now, but it's always funny to me. Like I see a highlight of some guy and I'm like, oh shit, I had no idea that guy had hops like that. Like I talk about him every day, but I had no idea some of those guys.
I mean, that clip is worth watching just for Miles Bridges highlight dunks. So that dude just like literally breaks rims.
He is impressive. Okay, we'll see if there's any post-lock questions. DK Cash Chinatown says, fading Lonnie Walker in cash is fill in the blank with any word of your choosing, Meansy.
Only I get one word?
You get one word. Yeah. I mean,
negligent?
Negligent.
I don't know.
That's good.
Like he's gonna get 15 DK points tonight. Like who cares?
He is the guy though. He's the guy that when you fade,
it's not negligent.
No, it's negligible maybe.
But he chunks.
No, yeah, I meant negligent, but negligible also might be relevant too. What do you say, Tuttle?
I just hate fading chuckers when they're going to be high owned in cash.
Oh yeah. Or you mean you hate fading them?
Yeah, I hate fading.
They always hit when you fade
them? Yeah, okay. Like I hate the guys that have. Like I'm more okay fading the guys that are going to score you 15 to 20 points and that's that. But Lonnie gets hot, he's throwing up 40. Right. Like that's within the range of outcomes for him.
Knicks give up a lot of threes.
Okay, we'll take this final question here from DY. I just noticed I've got your boy Dennis Schroeder in all 20 of my DK GPP lineups. Should I pivot some of that over to Marcus Smart? Tuttle?
I mean, it just depends on what your goals are tonight, right? Like if I'm fine, if you want to take that aggressive of an approach on the best player of the slate, go for it. You're going to be overweight, which isn't necessarily easy to do on Schroeder. So I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I wouldn't pivot just for the sake of playing a lesser player on a slate like this. I would, if I was trying to get off of some Schroeder builds, I would move more than one piece around, I guess is the best way of saying it.
Okay. Meansy, dropping the text here of the YouTube clip.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Let's see. Mr. Knapp, which is one of the best screen names I've seen here in a long time. Mr. Knapp 21 says D White or M Smart. We'll call it cash.
Smart. I think Tuttle said, I forget what Tuttle answered. He answered that for GPP earlier. I forget what he said though.
I said Smart too.
Yeah.
Okay, final question. Mr. Coolio, DKGPP, Ines Freedom's fantasy points were revised down from 21 to right around 16. Should I switch him out for someone else? His price is 3.4.
He's fine in GBP still. Just know that the floor is definitely there. He's the guy that you could see minutes get squeezed pretty quickly if things don't break his way.
Okay. I keep saying last question, and then people keep typing questions. So Achilles, DK, Harden, Barrett, or LeBron Smart means?
First one.
Okay, excellent. With that, we're going to get on out of here. For Means and for Tuttle and for Steven, who's working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.